out of curiosity, there's 44 counties.
Mhm.
Have you, in your various capacities, heard from any or about any of those counties? Because they all have to report to the Secretary of
They
State.
all had the same
That
problems.
whether there was any county that had a serious problem with fraudulent voting or any kind
No,
of
as far as fraud goes, I haven't heard that anyone did. And of course, we were all venting after election because of the validation
Right.
being down and the channeling that was wrong in so many counties. One county, the power went completely
Yes.
out. Did you read about that? I can't remember which one, if it's Bingham or Cashin or somewhere. And people actually just did the good neighbor thing, and they all brought their flashlights, and the fire departments brought their trucks with their lights, and the police department brought their standing lamps for emergencies. They just got out all their disaster equipment, and they tried to light it up as best they could. The other little thing that went sideways here in Latah County that could have been a huge oopsie is when I got to the fairgrounds, there was no power. So we had no heat. We had we'd gotten up on a generator, and Avista said they broke a line from the fairgrounds across the street, and that they have to shut down all of the power at the fairgrounds to fix it. And I said, we'll go on half power, and we'll go all day, and we'll hope the generator holds out, and it did. But it was not fun worrying all day about whether the generator was going to hold up, and it was dim. Did you notice the fairgrounds was dimly lit? Half of the lights were on and half were off for a reason. It's because we didn't have enough power that day. So, you know, I was really grateful that.
And the floors were cold.
Henry Ann, do you have any slides that show the impacts of redistricting a few years ago? And the changes,
No,
you know,
I don't.
as Latah and Benoit counties merged into this?
Yeah, I looked at that data when I was ordering ballots because I was trying to figure out how many to order for each precinct. So just to err on the side of caution, I decided to order 100%. We ordered 100% for ever how many registered voters we had. But then it turned out we were getting so many registration cards in. When I ordered those ballots late in the game, the reorder, I also ordered for a few rural counties or areas because I thought if they have as many people coming in to register as I'm seeing here for same-day registration, I'm going to run out of ballots. So that's the last thing you want to do on election day. You're shoring up your polls all day. You know, I was going between the fairgrounds and the Kibbe Dome, and having to run extra photocopy ballots and hand count them, that would just be no fun.
Well, I was thinking those early maps that showed the relative blue and red and what have you, the voting, you know, so our congressional district, I shifted red.
Oh, well, when we started
from the blue.
having
When
Benoit
we-
County and
that-
Latah
exactly,
County,
right.
no.
That would be
No,
interesting
but we
to
did
see,
we
too.
changed some precinct lines, Nancy, and that's what I thought you were referring to.
Uh-huh.
And we may do that again. We've got some precincts that are getting really large, and it's just too hard for the poll workers to handle that many people. I know at the Kibbe Dome we've got 2 out there. I think we need to do some rearranging on. So some precincts weren't as busy as others, but boy, kudos to everybody who worked out there and registered voters all day. Linda was jumped ship from one job to another because we needed her more over here than there.
Just out of curiosity, how many registered voters do we have in Farmington?
In Farmington, we have 29, and they voted 100%.
Tell them where Farmington is.
Well, Farmington is way up here, precinct 20. This little piece here, and we mail them their ballots, and they mail them back. So
Don't they consistently have 100%?
They often do. What was interesting is Linden, down here 25, is this little corner. Our 2 furthest precincts are mail ballot precincts, so we always mail them because it's just such a small number of people. So in Linden, there's 88 voters. We had 3 people come into the auditor's office and register to vote on the day of election and cast a vote, so they actually had quite a high turnout. I'm thinking also of maybe moving Bowville to a mail out because they're getting small enough. But people in Bowville love to vote. You know, it's kind of a community thing. So I penciled out the cost of what it would be to mail versus man the polling station. And it is a little bit of a savings, but at some point I may have to do that. Right now I'm not quite ready to do that.
They appreciate it.
They do. They love to vote in Bowville. Harvard too. They have high turnout.
I wanted to congratulate you. I'm assuming that this was a great deal of your office and probably the league and the Democrats and Republicans. But when we were registering students on election day, the majority of them had a letter they had brought, either from the housing office or from the university, that said, Susie Smith is a student at UI and lives on campus, or whatever it was.
They knew what they needed to bring,
And
and we'd had articles in the Argonaut, and we'd gotten with the young Dems and young Republicans and tried to get the word
there
out.
were a few very creative, unusual as far as I was concerned, proofs of residency.
Of residency, yeah. We take most anything if it has your name and your address. We go with them.
So you have people who register at the polls, and then they vote, and then you tally up your results. But those people who registered at the polls, they still have to be all verified, and so you might be pulling votes back, or what?
What do you mean?
I mean, you can't, because you don't know what they voted. I mean, so how many,
Oh.
you know,
Oh,
like, you can't
we had to,
verify
yeah,
a registration that registered on election day,
yeah,
but their vote counts,
their vote counts.
even if
Yeah,
you can't.
yeah. We just,
How many do you typically get on voting day that you cannot
Registered.
verify?
validate, I don't know. I'd have to ask Jennifer. Do you know, Victoria, how many we couldn't
It
validate?
varies.
It wasn't very many.
I would hope not.
Because you're standing there in front of an election official and she's not gonna let you vote unless you can prove to her that you live there and
Right.
you've got all your, it was more the registrations that came in from the parties and the festivals. We went to every festival known to man, the Hymn Fest, the
Oh, well, now there you
Film
go.
Fest.
It's all
out
making
there
sense
everywhere.
now.
Yeah, we tried to go everywhere.
With a high amount of students here, do you have much of a double voting from a student's hometown, absentee, and
That's a
here in
good
person?
question. Yeah, we always remind them that you want to be careful, especially if you're from Alaska, that you're not going to lose your scholarship because you decide to vote in Idaho. But we explained to them, you know, that this will move their their registration to Latah County, and they won't be able to vote in their home county for any of their candidates there. But it is their prerogative, and a lot of them on election day, they want to vote so bad they don't care. They just go ahead and switch.
Is there a computer clocking
Oh,
voters
yeah,
in
right.
one county?
It
and
does.
So it picks out,
It does. That's why I was saying that our system is always changing because, well, we check obituaries and we try to take people off. We get lists from Bureau of Vital Statistics to take people off if they deceased out of Latah County. You know, so we are always keeping that system up at least every other day, trying to keep it caught up. But it is a statewide system, so anyone can go in and look and see where the person is currently registered, and if they want to change their registration to Latah County, then we have to let them, you know. So, did that answer your question?
yeah, I'm actually wondering if there have been many incidences of people voting in two places.
In two places.
One absentee and one in person.
Well, if they did, it would show up.
Okay, that's what my question.
Because
is.
every person has a history. I can go to anyone in this room and I can tell you what elections you voted in and which ones you didn't vote in. Because when those poll books come back to my office, we go page by page and we enter your name and what race it was and that you voted that time. So